I found my first hair at 35. I pulled it out and told myself, don't worry, it's just one. By 45, they weren't hiding anymore. My temples, my part line, and every mirror told me the same story. You're aging. This is what happens. Get used to it. Well, I almost believed that. I almost accepted that the woman looking back at me was just on a one-way road now. There was nothing to do but cover it up every 6 weeks and pretend I didn't mind. If you've stood at that mirror and felt that quiet grief too, I know exactly where you are. That's why I want to just gently tell you that you're not broken. You're not letting yourself go. Your hair's doing exactly what it was built to do. It's just been handed the wrong signal for a bit too long. And you've probably told yourself, I've tried everything. Maybe this is just my age. Well, it isn't. And I'm going to show you why. Because this isn't a calendar problem. It's actually an energy problem. One stress hormone has been quietly draining the tiny power plants inside your hair pigment cells until the color fades, and almost nobody is looking at it this way. And later I'll give you the one question that changes how you see every grey strand in the mirror. It's free and you can apply it tonight. Because I had a question that wouldn't let go. If grey hair is just getting older, why does it arrive in clusters? Why do some women go grey almost overnight after trauma? And why did a mitochondrial lab document a single strand of hair going dark, then white, then dark again, recording a person's stress and recovery like they were tree rings? And that's why, as a healthcare professional with more than 15 years of experience, I refused to accept that this was my final chapter. So I did what I always do. I dug deeper. And what I found wasn't aging at all. It was a cellular injury. And like most injuries, it can heal. So do this with me now. Take a single strand of your hair and hold it up to the light. Is it pure white all the way through, or is there some variation? Darker at the root, banding along the length? If you see variation, your pigment cells are still trying to add color to your hair. So write color in the comments, because that variation isn't random and it's just aging. It's not a diagnosis. It's just what they say when they've stopped looking for the cause. So here's what you need to know about how your hair works and how it changes color. Every strand of hair grows from a tiny follicle in your scalp. Think of each follicle as a small factory. Inside is a specialized crew made up of cells whose one job is to make pigment and inject it into each new strand as it grows. That pigment is what gives your hair its color, and it has to be made fresh for every single strand, every single time. But here's what cortisol does to those factories. It does two things at once. First, Dr. Martin Picard, a mitochondrial scientist at Columbia University, found that stress hormones force cells to use 60% more fuel than normal, 60% more for the same job. Every cell runs on these tiny internal power plants called mitochondria. When cortisol keeps that energy tax running, the mitochondria in your pigment cells eventually can't keep up. Secondly, they're not dead. Your pigment cells are just in an energy debt. And color costs energy, which they no longer have. So the pigment stops going in. And here's why it never eases up on its own. Cortisol drains your pigment cells, but then seeing grey hair feels stressful, which tells your body to release more cortisol, more energy debt, more grey. That's the loop. It just feeds itself. One mechanism doing all the damage, not a dozen different ones. Do this for me now. Put your fingertips flat on your scalp and try to slide the skin back and forth. Really move it. Do you feel how tight it is? How little it actually shifts? A healthy, well-fed scalp glides. A tight one that barely moves, that's restricted blood flow to your follicles, meaning less oxygen, less fuel. Those tiny power plants are running on empty. That's not a theory. That's why the color stops showing up. So write strand if you're ready to solve this case. What the Picard lab did next was to look inside those grey hairs and the pigmented ones as well, from the same person. What they found was extraordinary. The white hairs actually had more mitochondria, not fewer, but those mitochondria were inefficient, burning through fuel without producing useful energy, like a car engine revving in park. Your pigment cells aren't gone, they're just exhausted. So the question isn't, why am I greying? It's, what's exhausting my color cells and how do I restore them? Here's where the conventional system steps in to solve the problem, but where it fails as well. What does the system actually offer for grey hair? Well, it's a box of dye, a salon appointment every 6 weeks, maybe a biotin supplement, but none of these were ever designed to touch the mechanism we just mapped. The global hair color industry is worth $30 billion, and more than half of that exists to hide the evidence, to paint over the crime scene. And you might walk into your doctor's office and say, my hair is graying faster than it should. I'm 45. My mother didn't gray until 60. Something's off. And what can they actually offer? Nothing that touches what we've just investigated. Nothing designed to support the pigment cells at the cellular level. Maybe a pamphlet on stress. Maybe the name of a good colorist. A colorist for a cellular injury, for a cellular energy crisis. That's the moment I refuse to accept the system's answer for women like us. So I went looking for what actually repairs this kind of damage, not a box of dye, not a cover-up. Something that works at the level where the injury actually happens. And what I found changed everything I understood about grey hair, because the answer isn't on a salon shelf at all. Here's what I found. Cortisol's been exhausting your colour cells faster than your body can restore them, but your colour cells can recover. And I'm going to show you the 3 tools I use in clinic to help them do exactly that. As a clinical naturopath with 15 years in practice, I prescribe standardized medicinal extracts. That's the active compounds concentrated and dosed at therapeutic levels, proven in human research. It's a world of difference from what you'd grab off a supermarket or pharmacy shelf. Because this is foundational medicine. Your cells are the fabric that makes up your entire body, every tissue, every organ, every system. It all comes back to your cells. Not managing symptoms, repairing the foundation. And that's where we start. Tool 1, you have to turn off the tap. Because even the best repair means nothing if cortisol keeps flooding in. You'll always be fighting upstream. So this comes first. The most researched natural compound for this is ashwagandha root. It's a plant that's been used for thousands of years, and now it has the clinical evidence to back it up. Now, the key word is standardized. That means the active part of the plant, the part that actually does the work. It's guaranteed at a specific level at every dose. The powder in a supermarket tub, you don't know what you're getting. A standardized extract means you do. Tool number 2. Now, turning off the tap is step 1. But cortisol has already done 2 things. It's lit a fire inside your colour cells and it's drained their fuel tank. So step 2 does both. It puts out the fire, then it refuels the cell. Think of it like this. Your colour cells are trying to work in a house that's on fire. You can send in builders, but first you have to put out the flames. Now, the 5 cortisol lights isn't the kind you feel. There's no swelling, there's no heat. It's invisible, but it is cellular damage running quietly in the background. I put it out with phycocyanin. It's a blue pigment from spirulina, a very rare blue-green algae. It hits the 2 main switches, keeping that fire burning, and turns them down at once. It's backed by human trials. Now, with the fire out, you refuel, and that means feeding the mitochondria, those tiny power plants inside every colour cell. 2 compounds do this. First, curcumin, the active part of turmeric, purified so it actually reaches the cell, not the powder from the spice aisle, a standardized extract at therapeutic levels. Second, ubiquinol. That's the ready-to-use form of CoQ10, something your mitochondria already use to make energy. By your 40s, your body makes less of it, so you're just topping it back up. And every one of these is natural. Phycocyanin from algae, curcumin from turmeric, ubiquinol your body already makes. Nothing synthetic, nothing foreign. You're just putting out the fire and handing the cell the fuel it needs to do its own job. Now, here's the thing. Ashwagandha, phycocyanin, curcumin, ubiquinol, they're powerful, but they're the resources your cells use to do the repair. You still need the repair crew itself. Because your follicles, every single one, have their own colour crew. They're called melanocyte stem cells. They live right at the base of each hair follicle, and their one job is to make pigment and inject it into every new strand as it grows. This happens every day. Your colour cells can rebuild. But here's the catch. Cortisol's been draining those cells faster than they can work, forcing their mitochondria to burn 60% more fuel just to survive. And on top of that, the whole repair system started slowing down from about 18 years old. So by 50, more than half of your repair crew is gone. So the question actually isn't, can my colour come back? It's, How do I top up the repair crew and protect them while they work? That's tool 3, stem cell nutrition. The final piece, sending in the reinforcements. More repair cells delivered straight to the follicle. For this, I use 2 formulas that work together. The first is the release formula. Think of your bone marrow as a depot. It's where your body stores repair cells. This formula has 3 natural algae compounds that help open that gate. AFA, a very rare blue-green microalgae from a lake in Oregon in the US. It signals the bone marrow to release those repair cells into your bloodstream. Then fucoidan from a specific seaweed to increase the number of those circulating stem cells. And third, a specialized spirulina extract that supports every step of that journey, the release, the travel, and the arrival, so those cells actually reach the follicle that needs them. The second is the delivery formula, because releasing those cells doesn't really mean much if they can't get through to the repair site. For this, I use a formula that contains 3 things. 1, enzymes. Think of these as tiny scissors that clear the sticky buildup that slows down your bloodstream. 2, the formula that contains gotu-kola and ginkgo biloba, 2 standardized plant extracts that support the walls of your smallest blood vessels. And thirdly, the formula contains a trio of antioxidants, namely astaxanthin, sea buckthorn, and hydroxytyrosol, to protect your repair cells from oxidative damage during their transit. Think of oxidative stress like rust happening inside your blood vessels. These 3 clean it up. And remember that tight scalp from earlier, the one that barely moved under your fingers? This is why it matters here. Your scalp is the end of the line, the narrowest blood vessels in your whole body, the first to actually starve when circulation slows. That's why sending repair cells isn't enough on its own. They have to actually reach the follicle. So the release formula opens the gate and the delivery formula clears the road all the way to the scalp. Nothing synthetic, nothing foreign. You're simply topping up a repair crew your body already knows how to use. Now, everything I use across all 3 tools is in my 90-day cellular repair guide. Turn to page 13 and click the cellular repair support link. So we turn off the tap, we calm the fire, we feed the cells, and we rebuild the crew with stem cell nutrition. That's the sequence. That's what I do in clinic, and that's what's in the free guide. And here's the question I promised you at the start. Next time you spot a grey strand, don't think, I'm getting old. Ask this instead. What signal are my cells responding to? That one question changes everything because it moves you from covering up to fixing, from resignation to cause. And here's the thing, your hair is only the part you can see. That same signal is playing across your whole body. The reset scorecard in my guide is how you answer the question everywhere at once. Because you've tried the dye, you've heard it's just aging. None of it touches the cause. This is your way out. It's natural, science-backed, used by me and my clients worldwide, because we're not chasing symptoms, we're repairing your cells, the foundation your whole body is built on. So I've walked through this myself. That first grey hair at 35, I almost accepted the story, told myself it was fine, that it was just what happens. But something in me knew this wasn't the end for me too. So I dug deeper, and not just for me, but for every woman who sits in my clinic holding a strand of hair and asking if it's too late for her. What I found became my 90-day cellular repair guide, the exact protocol I use to support your body's own pigment cells. It's laid out simply, step by step, so you know exactly where to start. Inside, you'll also find that reset scorecard. It's got 10 markers in it that tell you precisely what to focus on first, based on your actual symptoms. No guessing, no try everything and see. And on page 13, you can click the cellular repair support link to find the formulas I use in my clinic. And if you've tried everything and nothing's held, again, I want you to hear this. You never failed. Your body was just doing exactly what it was built to do with the signal it was given. So change the signal and the whole picture changes. Women just like you and me, women who were told their labs were normal while their pigment cells were quietly exhausting, are using this guide right now. So download it free at the link in the description and start tonight. And then ask yourself this. If cortisol was behind your greying hair all along, what else in your body is running on that same broken signal? Well, it turns out it's your sleep, your waistline, your energy. those 3 a.m. wake ups you've been blaming on age. So share this with a woman who was told it's just her age, and subscribe, because we've been tracking cortisol across 4 crime scenes: your sleep, your belly fat, your brain fog, and your hair. But there's at least one more place it's doing damage that most women never connect to stress at all. That investigation is next. I'll see you there.